Good morning and welcome to a very special Sunday edition of No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast. Um, I'm Bobby Melendez, joined by my tag team partner, Josh Kimmel. Rise and shine. It's wrestling time. Josh, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good. I just finished up Saturday Night Main Event this Sunday morning. Still haven't seen anything else. Just full disclosure, it's a lot of wrestling, and we had to move the show because of me. I think I let the cat out of the bag last week. I had a big fantasy football draft live yesterday in Orlando. Drove all the way to Orlando, drafted 10 rounds, drove all the way back home. And by the time I got home, it was like 7:30. No, it was earlier than that, 6:30. I don't know what time it was. I had a headache. We didn't do the show, but we're here now for everybody. So I have
Yeah.
some opinions on these shows or this show I watched.
Yeah. So talk about fantasy sports, fantasy football. So first off, shout out to Fantasy Now Plus, Josh Kimmel, Justin Burley, and the crew. Um, yesterday, I got up and I'm getting ready for my Fins Talk Today Dolphin show. I'm excited. We're going to have Georgia, the Fins Faithful Pod on, and Hank, Fish Tank Hank. And it's a good show. We were doing our season projections and predictions. So I got like an hour left on the show, and all of a sudden my phone buzzes off. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, okay, what's this? Somebody texted me, and I go to look and it says, you have a draft in an hour, Dynasty basketball. And I was like, what the heck did I do that? And I remembered, oh gosh, Justin Burley asked me to be on the fantasy basketball because that's something that the guys are going to be doing. And so I said, oh my goodness. So I had to I have it here, and I've never done anything Dynasty before. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I started thinking like, oh, basketball, cool. Okay, who's gonna be good? Then I started, holy crap, wait, this is Dynasty. And I started remembering, what did Josh teach me about this? This is long term. This is a long term thing. So in regards of who you draft and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the way I'm going. For someone who was not prepared, I'll just be honest, I actually feel pretty good about how I'm doing so far.
Here we go.
I know Justin texted me one time going, damn, you just drafted the guy I wanted. I was like, well, so I felt good about that. So yes. So shout out to the Fantasy Now Plus guys as they get into basketball. But that happened to me yesterday. As soon as you mentioned me about your draft, I was like, yeah, I was in one too. But Alfred, what's up, man? Good morning. Great to see you. DSG, what is up? They robbed Oldberg. Goldberg got dirt. Yeah. We'll talk about all of that. Hey, but we'll talk about Goldberg, but I know what you guys are talking about. Talking about that his end of career speech, it was just, I'll
I got a
just
story
say,
on that.
yeah, I just think that it just felt off. It's after that Seth thing. I think it just felt off after that. But there was a lot of wrestling yesterday, and there's a lot to catch up on. I tapped in here and there. I tried to catch some of All In. I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do this. And I said, no, I'm just kidding. It froze. I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Oh, man. But there was a lot of wrestling and a lot of good wrestling. The Great American Bash NXT was on. Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, I heard, put on a burner. I did not get to see that. I will. I do want to watch that. I know Josh is more likely going to watch that because then he's committed to trying to watch, and he has been watching more NXT. But AEW, I got to get back and get to see some of the matches. I want to get to watch the full Tony Storm Mercedes Moné match. I caught part of it, got to catch the finish. I really liked the finish. And what was it? Cope, I hate that. Adam Copeland came back, saved Christian. So that was pretty cool. My kids are freaking. That's what we got to see. That was the part we got in on, and my kids were freaking out. Edge is back. I was like, this is not WWE. They're like, but still. I was like, it's Cope though. And they, who's Cope? I was like, exactly.
Who's Cope?
But very quick, All In. I know you got some catching up to do, but but you did. We've discussed before. Tony Storm, Mercedes Moné. I was, hey, Tony Storm needs to win. You're like, no, Mercedes Moné. Tony Storm goes over. My brother, what did you think of that?
I didn't think Mercedes needed to win per se. but I thought it was gonna happen. I'm really happy. I was on Real Talk Wrestling this Thursday talking with the guys, stating that I think Tony needs to win this match. They built her up. There's their true star. They don't build stars. They did it. I mean,
Yeah,
2
it's true.
people they built up. Hangman Page and Tony Storm went over last night, and I think they needed to on their biggest show of the year. That's like every time Stone Cold Steve Austin would be in a program and Vince would bury him. What if they did that? Stone Cold wouldn't be Stone Cold. So why build these people up just to bury them? Yeah, build Tony Storm up, get her on there. I think it's great, and I think a lot of people, if Mercedes loses and is humbled and goes on along with the story, people are gonna turn back on and go, "Wow, she is for the," kinda like what Becky's doing right now. She is for the division because that was the big narrative. Mercedes was not for the women's division. Her losing clean, I don't know if it was clean or not. I didn't watch the show. I'm going to. I'm in the middle of reading what happened in the stupid main event match and just the paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of run-ins. I'm not interested in this Texas Death match, but I am going to be interested in the Mercedes Moné match. Was that the second to last match, Bobby?
Oh man. My son said it was the main event, but it was not the main event. It must have been the second to last match. And maybe Alfred or maybe somebody who watched maybe could let us know because it froze up on me. I did like the finish. She did. You probably know the actual name to her finisher, Tony Storm.
Storm
But she did
Zero?
yes, she did. She did 3 of those and then 1-2 kick out, which was, and then she did it off the top turnbuckle. And that's how
Avalanche? Okay.
yeah. And then she was able to beat Mercedes. And you bring up a great point, and I think that's absolutely fair. And you're right. Is that 2 originals of AEW? You know, Adam Page and Tony Storm went
Tony
over.
Storm's not an original,
I
but
know,
she
I know.
is
She's from
built up.
NXT and whatever the heck, but you know what I mean. But still, that's where she got. But she wasn't. She was Tony Storm, but but she wasn't this Tony Storm.
Right.
She's organically. I'm give AEW and her credit. She built that character organically through AEW, and so. But they went over yesterday, and that's great. That was really cool, and it showed because we just did an episode. It wasn't solely on it. Mercedes was the headline. She was the main event of last week's show, but or the main topic. But it was just the superstar in general. We talked about, hey, they get the whole, quote unquote, so and so Hogan, the Mercedes Hogan, Becky Hogan, whatever. We were talking about that, and so for Mercedes to go, to do the job basically for Tony, and the way it was done, the way it at least looked to me was really good. I don't know. I saw a couple clips of they call the Texas Death Match, a couple things of that, and it was just overly ridiculous, but that's just me. What else? What was I going to talk about with? Oh, I have to ask you this, and I tagged you yesterday, but I know you're hardly on X anymore, because Coach Vogel, who's on our On the Clock draft show throughout the season in scouts college football, and for our, he tagged me and asked me, what can AEW do last night? And I thought about it. I said, that's a great question. I said, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody there. But he goes, what moment can they have that will, at the end of All In, that will make everybody go, whoa, like the Hogan turning on WCW thing. And I said, that's a great question. And I think Justin responded, but I was like, I want to ask you, and because I said, I don't know if there's anybody there right now that could have that type of moment. I don't know if there's anything there that could make the wrestling world, not just AEW fans, but the wrestling world go, wait a second, and tune in. John Cena turning heel is pretty close to that, because that was that we all kind of, but it was like, there's no way he'd do it, and he did it. I told him, I said, I don't know if there's anybody there that could do that. So I want to ask you, because obviously nothing really happened yesterday. Nothing happened for that. But can they do something like that? He said, oh, McMahon showing up, but come on. But, is there anything there that you could think that a moment can happen that could shock the world? Like NWO formation at Bash at the Beach.
Well, the way to create a moment is to be able to have people that can create moments like that to the mainstream audience.
Great point.
Anything that anything that happened on All In last night, whether it be the return of Darby Allin, whether it be the return of Jack Perry. I'm just throwing names out there. I did not watch the show. I just know who won, and I'm reading the descriptions now. I'm reading some of these names. None of these people have the power to move the needle in AEW in the broad scheme of things. If you think about last night, the main takeaway from last night in wrestling from the entire day is probably Jelly Roll and Logan Paul, right? They probably move the needle more than any other people in the wrestling ring, as far as reaching out to the biggest audience. Because even my wife was like, "Oh, she's, that's why I turned the TV off, because my wife came in to watch wrestling with me, and she's super annoying to watch wrestling with." She stood around for the Jelly Roll segment, and I'm like, "All right, it's time for bed," because she would have sat there and commented on every single wrestler in the world and made fun of them. But she stood around just because Jelly Roll was involved. So AEW doesn't have that. They just don't. I guess they tried it with Tony Khan getting power driven by the Young Bucks, and they dropped that story in 2 weeks because it didn't move the needle. Nobody cared. The only person that could move the needle or ever has is CM Punk. Other than that, they haven't had anyone else to spike business, move needles, or make moments. They just have banger wrestling matches, which is great if that's what they. But I don't think they're not in the business to make money or to make moments.
Those type of moments, yeah,
they're in the business to put on great matches.
I think you're spot on. I think in regards of that superstar power, you need a guy who is bigger than the brand, who's that ultimate, who could be the ultimate babyface, and then to have that heel moment or whatever the hell that could shock the world. And they don't have that right now. But hey, they, by all intents and purposes, and from what I've heard, again, it froze up on me last night, but All In was a great show, and so we'll go on from there. NXT, again, we talked about that. Great American Bash was there. Went down, but Saturday Night Main Event, that was the finale of the epic day of pro wrestling. And I think Josh is frozen. If I'm not,
can you hear me at least?
I could hear you. I just thought you were very intently looking at your phone.
But should I back out and come back in?
Because you could absolutely do that, brother.
All right.
Let's see if I could fix this. So, because my green screen can only go so far. So we'll wait for Josh just to jump right back in. But first off, shout out to Justin Toner of the Ruckus Wrestling Entertainment podcast, DSG in the house. Great to see you guys. Josh Wingate, what's up, brother? Great to see you. Hope your vacation was great. If you get back, there he is.
Looking at my phone, by the way, because if Wingate, if you're still in there, texted me at 9:12 p.m. asking me which brewery you should look for in May. Brother, 9:12 p.m. You think I'm going to answer a text message at 9:12 p.m.? All right, cool.
There's nothing more when I look. I'll admit there's times where I thought I was going to text you at a certain hour. I'm an hour behind you, and then I'll look, and what reminds me is when I see notifications silenced, and it's kind of like, even though it's not intended, I always look and I go, well, F you too, Josh. I see notifications, douche. So I know now when to text when I see notification, or there's sometimes I go, I'm gonna text them anyway. F it. Wake up, bro, old man. But Alfred, what's up, my man? And Sammy, woo, great to see you, my man. But Saturday Night Main Event went down yesterday, and starting off, I've taken Saturday Night Main Event. Now it's when I watch it, I don't expect any real surprises. I don't. It's a wrestling show. I love the nostalgic vibe of it. Obviously, there was a lot of good headline matches on there. I mean, Orton versus McIntyre, Solo versus Uso, LA Knight versus Rollins, Goldberg versus Gunther. Of course, this was Goldberg's last match. His send-off for you brought up, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. The main point, because there was so much discussion before that match, like, because they, there's the projected storyline is Jelly Roll and Orton tagged with Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul. And, a lot of people are like, oh, who wants to see that? Who's asking for Jelly Roll? But you just brought up a great point before we get into that. What's the main trending topic besides Seth Rollins' injury, which we'll get into? But the main trending topic coming into today for wrestling, it's Jelly Roll. That's why the WWE does it. WWE is entertainment. World Wrestling Entertainment. Their goal is sports and entertainment, to entertain the fans, not just wrestling fans, but all fans. Because guess what? People are going to, outside of wrestling, to draw those guys in, Jelly Roll's going to do that. And he took a pretty good lick in the head. I mean, from Drew. I mean, shout out to him. I mean, he didn't look like he's great. He seems like a decent actor. He didn't look like, he didn't laugh. He didn't look like he was faking it. But yeah, so that's the one thing I remember from that. And, Randy Orton's overacting. What happened? What happened? Who cares? He got kicked. We know. But what did you think of that one there, man?
I thought it was fun. So I take Saturday Night Main Events. When you're going to, let's say I'm going to watch Elio or Elio with my son in the theaters, I know I'm not going to go in there watching Titanic, or I'm not going to go in there to see Jaws, seeing a kid's movie. Same thing with Minecraft. So I go in with a Minecraft mindset of like, this is what it's going to be, right? I still have friends that go into these movies going, this better be, Dark Knight. Guys, standards. Yeah. So when I watch Saturday Night Main Event, I have my standards of like, this is going to be a lot of 8 to 10 minute matches, a lot of commercial breaks, like I expect that now, and a lot of entertainment because it's on network television. And who's watching network television? My demographic now. I'm not the key demo anymore. I'm outside that. My demographic, the older people. Why do you think they put these legends on there? Goldberg, DDP, all the people that they see in to get the old. Did you people see? To watch.
I know we're skipping it, but you just said DDP and Goldberg. Norman Smiley, the old head of WCW security. I popped. I'm not gonna lie. You know me. I was like, whoa, look who it is. I saw Ernest the Cat Miller. I'm like, come on, man.
I popped when the cat. So that's the thing is that's what NBC Saturday Night Main Event is for. It's a commercial for the older people to get the older people to get back to watching it. That's right. Exactly what it is. And that's why they always have legends on the show, like Goldberg. It's perfect for him. But then Jelly Roll, the entertainment aspect. My wife, we're watching it, NBC, she's into it. Oh, Logan Paul even, right? What's he doing? Why is he there? Because she doesn't watch wrestling. She doesn't know that he's a wrestler. So she watched the entire thing, especially because Randy Orton is, a dreamboat too, right? She was into Randy Orton. But I think I like this. I liked it. Jelly Roll sold it.
Yeah.
Old Josh, younger Josh, IWC Josh would be like, this sucks. He's taking time away from the wrestlers. Do I really need to see Kaiser wrestle a match? Do I really need to see this guy or that guy? No, Jelly Roll was fun. It was great. He's living out his dream. He obviously loves the sport and the aspect of it. I've turned on celebrities. Let them live their dream as long as they're into it. Don't give me a celebrity that's not into it.
Exactly.
Give me someone that's going to put the work into it.
I'm with you because guess what? If you had that opportunity, you do it too. If WWE said, "Hey man, we're gonna give you this spot," you're not gonna go, "Oh no, you should give it to that little guy down there."
Don't give me Snooki. Don't give me Cardi B. Don't give me people that just are there for the money. Give me the people like the Bad Bunny and Jelly Roll and Logan Paul and people that want to do it. I felt bad for the dude, the rapper guy. I don't know his name. Sorry. Who punched Cody Rhodes in the ear.
Oh,
he's a big fan. He's a huge fan. He wants to be involved. He didn't try. He didn't do as good of a job. He didn't pass the audition, I guess, during that Cody Rhodes thing. I bet you if he was put in the work, we would be like, oh, that was a good spot. That was cool. But he didn't put in the work. But anyway, I liked it.
That's fair.
Long story.
No, that's fair. Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso for the United States Championship. That was a late addition to the card. I didn't expect any surprises. I would love surprises. I don't want to see the title taken off Solo anytime soon. I love what they're doing. Again, I feel it. the regrouping, and then you add the addition of the bigger Tunga. I forget what the first name is. My son was trying to tell me, it's like, it's whatever. It's Haku's son. That's all I know. But I think it's, I love his size. I love the way they're booking him. But Solo goes over on Jimmy. They're beating on Jimmy, and Fatu makes the save, and Fatu looks good at the end. Not surprising. But what did you think? Did you want to see a surprise? Did you want to see
No, I do not
Uso
give
go over?
one care about this storyline whatsoever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's fine. Jacob Fatu's great, but I'm wanting. I will care more when Solo. He's starting to get taken more seriously now, because he was the Carlton comedy act, right? Now he's got his gang back. Now he's got his MFT, right? By the way, I don't watch SmackDown as much, and it took me a while to figure out what MFT stood for. I'm like, is it My Family Tree? I saw it on the shirts. I'm like, all right, cool. That's cool. I like this. They're no longer the bloodline. I like that they're finally something else, named something else. I'm sure. I don't know when that name came into effect, but I like it. I like that Solo has a group now, and it's his group. He's no longer taking over the rejects from the bloodline. He has his own group now.
Yeah.
And that makes it feel more important. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Is that what it's called? Is it My Family Tree?
I think it is. I thought it was. I got confused when I saw the initials, because I was like, I thought it said MJF or something. I was kind of like thrown off. I was like, what is this? And yeah, and but no, I'm with you. I don't want to see the belt off Solo anytime soon. It doesn't bother me if it does or not, but I don't want to see it because I really love his character, and I love that he's him. He's still a legitimate tough guy, or that, that's how he's portrayed and whatever, but he's himself. And thank you, Justin. Justin always coming in the clutch. And so, but I love that he can be himself, and he can still be that kind of like, cool kind of bad guy, Kevin Nash-esque a little bit, where the guy says a catchphrase and he kind of makes fun of it right in front of their face. And I like that. Solo, I like him way more now than I did, and I liked him a lot then, but I like him way more now. I like him way more now than I did when he was just the silent enforcer. Now that he's himself, I could see, I love Jay and the Usos, Jimmy Uso, but Solo is the funniest and the one with the highest ceiling. And I want Jimmy to get his day. I want Jimmy to get that singles run, at least one time in, but I think Solo's the best one, and I just love what they're doing with him. And I think he's organically building himself back up, where, especially like you said, he has his own group and he's moving his way up. So we'll see. Talking about organically built guys, but this one obviously outside of WWE did it in TNA, and and you smartened me up to his history, and then to come into NXT and now what he's in WWE, LA Knight. There's a lot of people that want him to be on top of the card. They want him to be the guy. There's other guys that are like, man, we're just sick of it. But he consistently finds himself in these top end matches where it's going to throw him over. It's going to put him over the top. Obviously, WWE thinks very highly of him. He's over with the crowd. He's great on the mic. He's decent in the ring. He's in these top book cards. He's going against the best. He's going against Roman. He's going against whatever. He's going against Seth Rollins last night. I mean, who's the hottest thing in WWE right now on Raw with his group, and if and when who's joining, what he's doing, when is he going to turn in the briefcase, all that. They were having a decent enough match yesterday. It was good. Then he does this little spot, and his knee buckles, and it's bad for me with my hip. I can't do it, so I'm not going to pretend it's simple enough. I've seen a lot of people do it, and they're fine. My knee would probably tear off the labrum, this ain't enough. So I don't know how bad his knee is just overall wear and tear, but obviously remember he tried to do the flip over power bomb on Kane in a house show, and that's what tore his leg up that one time where he was out for a while. It didn't look bad, but it ended up being bad, and kind of reminded me of that last night. And right away, I'm sitting there. I was having dinner, and I was like, oh, cool, they're doing it. My son's watching, and then I saw it, and he goes, oh, Seth's hurt, and I was like, oh, it's a work, it's a work. He's gonna come up and attack him, and probably beat him, like it's like, oh, I'm hurt, and then bah, But then when I saw, the referee kind of pushed LA Knight back and then said something to LA Knight. LA Knight comes up, Seth gets up to do it again, and he just does his finisher. It looked off. It looked awkward. LA Knight looked like he was kind of like, what? And he even said something. And I'm like, holy that's real. That what just happened. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, it's a work. He's gonna come back. He's gonna cash in Money in the Bank on Gunther or Goldberg at the end of the night. It wasn't. And there's reports out that it's legitimate, and it looked legitimate. Just the way it ended felt legitimate, and it absolutely freaking sucks. For Seth Rollins, obviously, for wrestling fans, because of what the story they were building, the story we are expecting with Roman and Seth. Seth with his new group, Paul Heyman's story with Seth. So now it becomes, instead of like, oh, what's next when Seth could turn it in, it's now what's going to happen with this group? What's going to happen with this story? Because you could say anything else about any other story in wrestling and WWE. Any story involving Roman Reigns, which this story does, even though he's not on screen, is the most important, cared about story. Everybody gave a damn about Seth Rollins. Everybody gives a damn about Roman Reigns. They knew where this was going. Now it's kind of, it's on pause. So, and I see DSG just push it in there. And my brother would just call me to talk to me about that. First off, your reaction to that finish, your reaction to the injury, and where do you think it goes from here?
Yeah, so I was watching the match today about an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago. I'm going, oh wow, this is a decent match for LA Knight, but he does good work. And then that spot happened and he fell, and I was going, okay, he's gonna do what heels do and get the upper hand. Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe he's like, oh, I'm hurt, so everyone check on me. And then Braun Breaker comes in, spears LA Knight. Whatever. I thought it was a distraction. And then nothing happened. I see the communication. I see a trainer come out that I don't really see often on television. Like, okay, this is real. Boom, finisher, 1, 2, 3. LA Knight doesn't look happy after winning, which you would think if he wanted this match the way it was supposed to go down, he would have celebrated much longer in the ring. Nope, just rolled out, get out of the ring. And I did see the fan footage of Seth. Justin in the chat put in there. There's fan footage of Seth getting carried off, cussing, screaming, being upset, as he should be. So I think it's legitimate. I don't think this is a put. If this was a work, what's the end result? Right? This is not a work. If this was a work, what's the purpose of this work? You don't need a fake an injury to your top heel for it to be in a storyline. It doesn't make sense. So not a work. And the people that thought that he was going to cash in on the secondary title, I've been telling y'all from the start, that ain't going to happen. He's cashing in on the main title. If he can still cash in, if he can still hold, who knows how long he's going to be away. They might make a pivot. They might take that Money in the Bank and give it to somebody else. Push Braun in the chat. I don't know if Braun's going to be the one to step up and take Roman. I see differently. I see Paul Heyman enlisting somebody to come take on the role of Seth. And there's only one person that aligns with Seth's vision. There's only one person that can take on Roman and be believable. And it's Drew McIntyre. If they can somehow, after this Jelly Roll SummerSlam situation, can somehow get Drew McIntyre involved, I don't think it's going to happen. But what else is Drew going to do? The reason why Drew's in the celebrity match at SummerSlam, because he didn't have anything else to do. What was Drew's main goal before Punk and all this? It was Roman. This could be the only way they can make sense of it to still get that big Roman match with a big top against Paul Heyman's guy. And it could be Drew. Could be. But I don't know. How do you feel about that?
So, morning, Maria. Great to see you in here. So that's the thing. I don't know. Is there a time limit to when someone gets to cash in? Is it the next
Yeah,
month?
a year,
So
full year.
do we expect Seth to be out a year? Can
We
he
don't
hold
know.
it? Is this the best opportunity? Like for Seth, I think he could easily step away, take the money in the bank with him, be gone. And the next time he shows up and when you're least expecting it, is cashing in that money in the bank. And it will just have as big a moment as him staying around for it. In regards of the group, I know they've kind of teased Braun Breaker a little bit, kind of taking the mic from Seth and whatever. And when I saw it, it's like it's kind of a little too early to start teasing that. I wasn't a fan of that. Braun, there's not much to push, I think, because I think he's pretty over. I can understand pushing him to be like a main event player where, you love to watch him. He's awesome. But can he be what Seth is on, in regards of personality? Can he be what Roman is and all that? That's where I guess you got to push. Drew McIntyre coming in, being the leader of that group. Like you said, he's kind of stuck in that Jelly Roll, Logan Paul feud, which I think is fine. I don't know. I think if he wasn't, yeah, sure. I think pairing him up with Paul Heyman would be great. But I'm wondering if there's another who could step into that role. And that's because I know they were teasing that for a while. They just wrote Sami Zayn. I'm not saying Sami Zayn's that guy. They just wrote Sami Zayn off of TV. They might be bringing him back sooner rather than later. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, if Drew, I think, yeah, I like it. If Drew wasn't involved in that, I could see him being possibly that guy. But I don't know if it's believable all of a sudden that he pops in and becomes the leader of that faction or whatever. It has to be somebody associated with Paul Heyman and somebody who's believable enough that those two guys are going to follow him. I just don't. I'm trying to think. I think that interesting. I don't know if Karrion Kross is interesting, but I don't know if he needs Paul Heyman to talk.
It'd be too cluttered with Scarlett, and he's not a big enough
Yeah,
person.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Unfortunately,
I'm gonna say this just to say it. And it's funny because it's ironic. Yesterday, it was his birthday, and Paul Heyman tweeted about him, and then WWE also started selling his flannel shirt again at normal cost. Brock Lesnar. No, I'm just saying it to say it.
I know.
Brock Lesnar. And because they were saying who's the fourth guy, and I said that would be crazy. And I always thought, I think it's such an not missed opportunity because he missed the opportunity. But I would love to see Paul Heyman with Paul Heyman guys, like the most elite faction, Roman, Brock, and whoever the else you could put in. I think that would have been the coolest. You know what I mean? That would be epic-ish, but we'll never get that. That's the only name. Drew is a great name, but because he's in that Jelly Roll situation, it's hard for me to see. But that's the only other name that I could throw in there that would be believable for me. That I think Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed would follow. He doesn't need to work every week. I think that notion of people needing to work every week, especially when you're the Seth and the Roman and the Lesners of the world, you don't need to be there every week. That's, when people go, oh, he took my spot or he took that guy's spot. But that's their spot. That's those other guys' spots working every week. Those other guys don't need to. Their name alone. Roman hasn't been on TV in a while, and everybody still talks about Roman Reigns. They're still wondering when he's going to show up. Oh, Roman's, he's in Hollywood. But as soon as his music hits, you're jumping out of your seat. Roman doesn't need to work every week. But we'll see. It's now it makes it more it's interesting now. It's going to be interesting because we don't know what's next. So we're going to see. How about Punk turns heel and takes over? Ooh. That is interesting. I actually like that, Maria. I like that a lot.
Too soon. It's too soon from Paul turning on him. It's too soon. To me, it's too soon. It'd be a mistake.
Best friends fight, bro. Friends fight. They still say they're best friends.
Drew is the best option. Get done with the jelly roll thing after
Maria's on a
SummerSlam.
roll.
Reveal it at SummerSlam that after Drew wins his match in the celebrity match, reveal it later in the show that he's in cahoots with Paul Heyman. It's easy. Just have Paul on roll every week, like frantic now, like he doesn't know what to do. But don't do it like he did with the Bloodline. Just like he can still control Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, but he's still looking like he needs to go find someone to help and have it be true eventually. Do we need a Roman Reigns return for Drew to step in and defend Paul E? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
Because Drew also hates CM Punk.
Yeah.
It's all he is Seth. Like he is the same. It's the same vision.
But I just want to. Okay. Again, I think it's great. I hear you, right? And again, you could roll into SummerSlam and Paul and these two other guys are standing there, and there you go. We got to find a new leader and whatever the hell, and and they roll. Or Paul Heyman be the leader. F it. Let Paul Heyman be the mob boss. Saying whatever. And then when they're having this tag team match with the celebrities, and it looks like Randy and Jelly Roll are going to go over. Here comes Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and they're attacking Randy, and then you find out McIntyre is that guy, and of course, then you might have to include Logan Paul in that. Maybe,
that'd be fun.
I'm saying that's the Logan Paul.
I'm just more worried about the Money in the Bank and have they fumbled it? Is it over? Will they vacate it? Like that's the big. Like honestly, let's be honest.
Yeah,
the biggest story of Raw, which it hasn't been, should be Gunther in his title reign, and he should be the biggest heel on Raw. Like he should be, but it was Seth. It makes sense. It's Seth freaking Rollins. But this isn't such the biggest blow because you still have Gunther being top heel, being the top champion on your brand. So at least he didn't get hurt. Seth being hurt it can be changed. It's not like, I guess you could say the Roman and Seth match would have been the biggest match, but I don't think that was going to happen until WrestleMania, and that could still possibly happen.
But that's my thing with the Money in the Bank, especially if it's a year. I don't know if he'll be gone a year. We don't know what the time frame is, but I think you don't have to take that off of him. You could leave it because it will be, he could go away with it. He doesn't have to. It's not a title, it's not challenged every week. It's his. He won it. So if it's a year time limit, I think he could hold it, and people eventually will, once they know he's out and all that, they're going to let it go. They're going to forget it. And it's that one moment when it finally happens when someone wins and, oh my goodness, he's a new champion. And all of a sudden here comes Seth Rollins music. 1, 2, 3. Holy crap. Seth Rollins is the champion, Mr. Money in the Bank. And they could do that. I think the biggest thing is, who takes over Seth's spot in that position? And I know, we got the Braun Breakers. I think Drew is a great answer. I think it's the obvious one or I think it would be an obvious one if he wasn't involved in that story. But like you said, they could wait. I think Maria is not. I think I can understand you saying too soon. You know what I mean? But CM Punk makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. And I mean, him in a heel role, it works. And reuniting with Paul Heyman with those two guys behind him, yeah. So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. And let's move on. Well, very quick, because I saw this on Twitter, and I did think about this yesterday when I watched Cope Edge come out last night. Did you get to see the run-in at all?
I saw nothing. I saw zero.
Okay. All right.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. Oh, headaches.
I had fantasy football team to draft. I had to dominate.
All right. Well, I just want to say this very quick. So, I found it and I was excited. And I was like, I'm going to text Josh. And so, of course, it's right when Christian is getting beat up by his group. They're jumping Christian. And they're about to do the concerto. I think if I remember that's the right name, and they're about to hit him, and also you hear Edge's music come out, and Edge. I call him Edge. I'm not calling him Cope. I say Cope, but I don't like it. It's the dumbest thing. But Edge comes out, and you know that he is coming to save Christian. He's coming to save his former best friend, his brother. Here he comes. Do you think he runs straight to the ring when his brother's about to get smashed in the head with a chair? What does he do?
Did he taunt? He do his
he goes with the 2x4 with all the spikes and everything, comes running out, runs to this side, runs to the other side, and I'm like, that's what I'm like. What are we doing,
Love
bro?
it.
If I'm a heel, first of all, this is what
Doing
pisses
it.
me off. If I'm standing in that ring, and here comes Edge, I'm like, oh, Edge is coming, and I'm looking, and he's doing this, he's running this side and this side to the fans. You know what I'm doing? I'm smashing the out of Christian's head right in the ring. Boom! You know, I was like, it's over. I'm out. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Edge will be like this. And you know what he said? Christian gets up. He goes, go find yourself. And he walks out of the ring. And so, yeah. But anyway, I saw that yesterday, and I was like, come on, dude. That bothers the hell out of me. Smashed it out of them. Like,
I know.
That
was a wrestling trope. Both companies do it.
I know. I didn't say AEW thing. I didn't say it was an AEW thing. It's a pro wrestling thing. But it's like, Adam Copeland, Edge, you're one of the best ever, right? You're a vet, just like Christian. You know, you don't think that goes through your brain? You know, you don't think about that. Let me not do. I'm making a run in. Let me run in. Why do I have to go? I'm back, guys. It's like, just run in the damn ring. I would have. Oh my goodness. I don't care. Edge would have been pissed off at me. I don't give a damn. I would have smashed Christian and ran out. You know, like, I'll make the story. I don't give a damn. What's up, Logan? Great to see you. Tuning in here. The main event of Saturday Night Main Event. Goldberg versus Gunther. So this is what I figured what was going to happen. First off, I love the callbacks. You know, I love it. It was Goldberg's retirement match. Ernest the Cat Miller, head of WCW security, used to knock on the door. Those guys were all there. Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner were in attendance. Very cool to see. Loved it. And they all look great. It was awesome. Charles Robinson was in the match. Mm-hmm. I expected a Goldberg match. I expected a 2-minute, easy and done with, maybe like one spot for Goldberg and Gunther come out and win. I didn't expect Goldberg to win, obviously, but we got 13 minutes of a decent match. It was fun. It wasn't a barn burner. It wasn't nothing to be like, oh, but shout out to, first off, to Goldberg for doing that, you know, and he took some bumps and, you know, the spear through the barricade and everything else. Mm-hmm. But shout out to Gunther for being able to carry Goldberg in his last match to give him a decent I mean, the jackhammer looked great. I was worried about that ever since Undertaker. I get Goldberg, first of all, phenomenal shape. Looks like he could, you know, he looks for his age $1 million. But for whatever, like, you would think, oh, the guy could still do a jackhammer. He could still hold this dude up. He struggles. He can't do it anymore. He did really good yesterday. Goldberg looked even second of his 70-year-old self.
Listen. I'm the biggest Goldberg hater. Biggest Goldberg hater. But, man, you cannot deny the hype of this match, the fan reactions, that Gunther wrestled a broomstick last night. That's what he did. Gunther did everything. Gunther made Goldberg, even the spot where Gunther went on the top rope and Goldberg got up to throw him off. Goldberg didn't throw him off. Gunther jumped off. Goldberg didn't jackhammer him. Gunther jumped up and did. Like, Gunther made it was
the
ideal.
hand placement.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that match. Yeah, he goes to try to grab the trunks and he can't. So you see his hand go on, like, so that way he can lift himself up. I don't think that's a knock on Goldberg whatsoever.
It's not.
That's me. I didn't see that match and go, man, Goldberg just doesn't have it. I looked at it and go, damn, Gunther. That match alone showed you how good Gunther is. Because we'll say Shawn Michaels could wrestle with a broomstick and make it look like $1 million. Gunther did that last night. It's not a knock on Goldberg. We know what Goldberg's strengths are. We know what he's not anymore. He can't do it. He used to be able to lift 500 pounds. You know, he did the jackhammer on the Big Show and held him up forever. He used to do that. You know, he can't do it anymore. He wanted his last match. He wanted it against Gunther, and Gunther made him look like $1 million, you know, for his age. He made him give him a good match. He hasn't done that in a while. I think his longest match was Triple H in his first WWE run. This was his second longest match, and it was entertaining. It wasn't like I never felt the cringe. I never been like, oh, don't do that. You know, like you said, that spot where he went to throw him over and the burp, that was all Gunther. You know, he's older. Goldberg's older, but for that spot where he was able to hold Gunther up for a couple seconds that was my happiest moment for Goldberg, was that he was able to do that. And Goldberg was great at selling. You know, he sold the knee. I thought I was like, don't tell me he got hurt. Like, that's how, like, because I was, I guess, you know, still coming off that Seth injury. But no, Goldberg sold, and he sold really damn good. And I was pleasantly surprised with the main event. I think the biggest thing of that main event, though, it was the end when Goldberg was doing his speech and the show was over. You know, and it's like, seriously, we can't give him a couple more minutes.
So I have a story on that.
Okay.
I'm watching the show. I took a shower after the show, so as soon as it was over, choked him out. I'm like, okay, I don't ever stop the show. I just get up and I go do my thing, and show was over, in my opinion. I didn't expect any speeches. I expected nothing. So then he starts talking. I'm like, oh, homeboy's talking. And then it cuts off. I'm like, oh, a commercial? Like, whatever. Peacock just throws in commercials. Peacock does that. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for the commercial to come back. When the commercial thing came back, it was a promo of Charlotte Flair's documentary. I'm like, what happened to the Goldberg speech? Couldn't find it. Didn't know it cut off on national TV. I didn't know. So I'm like, oh, they just cut him off. Then I watched a couple YouTube videos before this show to see, like, Seth's injury, like some news on it, see if anyone reports anything, and they have. And people are like, yeah, they did Goldberg dirty, man. Like, they made him, first off, choke out. He didn't get pinned. And secondly, they cut his speech off. But you know what? I have a feeling on that. The speeches are for the live person crowds. The live people there who paid hundreds of dollars to be there, they got to enjoy it. So that's who it should have been for. I mean, I didn't care about his speech whatsoever. So I guess take that with a grain of salt. If you're a big Goldberg fan, maybe you wanted to see it. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. But what do you feel about that? Do you feel like they should have cut his speech off?
I think they should never showed it to begin with. I think they should have ended it with Gunther on top, so, you know, with the belt on the ramp, and they would have ended it. I'm with you. I think the speech is for the crowd. You know, and I don't know why they decided. I think the only reason why it's such a talking point is because they showed part of it, and he was midway through it when they cut it. They could have just shown Gunther up the ramp, and maybe show like a little package of Goldberg's career, and then wrap up the night. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I know Cody came out and talked and did a speech too, and you saw part of that from a fan's perspective afterwards. So yeah, I don't think they should have showed it to begin with, but I don't think Seth was supposed to cash in on Gunther. I think he's teased about going against, trying to cash it in on John Cena. I don't know. I think he should cash it in on Gunther. I think he should have cashed it in and won the World Championship to promote it and to build it. But I think Josh was on the money, and I think they kind of teased that when he tried to cash in on John Cena, the other PLE. We'll see. Yeah, DSG, you're right. Should be a YouTube thing, 100%. Like they did Ric Flair a while back, when it was Triple H versus Ric Flair for the title, and Flair didn't retire, but they didn't show his kind of tribute on Raw. They did it after, and then it became a DVD special. That's what they should have done. But hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, we see some good Gunther, because last night he did something that I think people forget how good he really is. He needs to be in something that is important. He needs to have somebody on the other side of that rope, on the other side of the ring, who can bring out the best in him on the mic, bring out the best with him in the ring, and could really put him on a main stage. Because he did the favor, even though he won, he did a favor yesterday. And maybe it was a dream for him to be against Goldberg, right? Goldberg is a legend.
Right.
There's the only reason why he would go against Goldberg is to is to maybe live out a dream. He got to do it. He went over. So what's next? Because, what are you going to do to make that belt important? What are you going to do to make Gunther important? Because, like you said, the hottest heel in Raw is not Gunther. It was Seth. What can you do to build Gunther up? We're going to see. Maybe Gunther takes over Seth's spot. We'll check it out. So, wrestling's not done this weekend. We have a whole other PLE to go. Evolution. Evolution is tonight. And my goodness, first of all, did you get a chance to see what's up, Universal? Did you get to see?
Hold on, I want to
holster.
Universal. Thank you so much for showing up. But I want to get this clear, and I said this at the top of the Saturday Night Main Event review.
Oh, okay.
It was not a great show, but like I said, you have to go into Saturday Night Main Events with the expectations of this is just a commercial. The matches are going to be 8 minutes, and there's going to be 5,000 commercials. You have to go in that. It's not going to be a PLE. It's not going to be a top tier show.
No,
it's just going to be a filler. But I get his point. I understand. All In was show of the year, according to Universal. So I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I heard it was good. I saw bits and pieces of it. I want to know if it's a show of the year. I did see other clips that I was kind of like, ew, but whatever.
Could have been show of the year. You didn't see it. You didn't know. You don't know.
I already know it's AEW. It's not show of the year. Anyway,
I bet you it's got some bangers. I bet you there's some 6-star.
I love that Universal put Universal rolling eyes. I love that. I just imagined. I was like, okay, that's awesome. So very quick, Evolution tonight. Did you get to see, Charlotte Flair's, Ashley Flair's, article that she wrote in the Athletic? No. If you haven't, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to be honest with you. It was great. You know how I feel about Charlotte Flair, but you get to see Ashley Flair in this, and first off, awesome writer, but just you get to see the other side of it. And right now, her work right now with Alexa Bliss, that kind of weird tag team, it's introducing another side of Charlotte, and I think it's welcomed, and I really like it. I like what they're doing with her. I like that we're not friends. I love that. But the way it's bringing out Charlotte, which it's giving you another side of her, I like what they're doing. So I'm gonna send you that, and just give it a gander, man. It gives you another side of it, because she talks about what bothers her, why that, the whole Tiffany Stratton situation. She brought up that, why it bothered her, that she didn't think they were booing Charlotte, they were booing Ashley at that point. There's different things, but it talks about her career, talks about her dad, her brother, and everything else. It was great. So what's up, Zach? Great to see you in here, my man. But let's talk about this Evolution tonight. First off, before we get into the matches very quick, where's your excitement level on tonight? Yeah, I know what you did. She did spill a lot of tea.
Zero. It can't be less than this. And I'll tell you why.
0.
I feel like this is an AEW show. There was zero build.
There
was zero build. There's zero nothing. It's just matches put together just for matches. I feel like they fumbled. I feel like they could have done something.
Trish Stratus said that. Trish Stratus even said it. She talked about, like, do I think there should have been more of a build? Do I think it should have been this? She in a promo with Stratton, So fair enough. I don't know if this show needs much of a build, but still.
I do. I'm going down the card. I'll go. We'll start with the top, and then we'll talk about the zero build, and if there's build, we'll start from the top. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. There's been story in the past of these two. Of course there have. They're two top women on their brand. But the story of this particular match was, oh, you're not doing anything for Evolution. Well, I'm not doing anything. You want to wrestle? That was it. That was the build. It wasn't like our match shouldn't have been a 3-way at WrestleMania. I didn't get a fair shot at WrestleMania. I didn't get a fair shot from a rematch. It had to be a triple threat match. It was just, you don't have a match. You don't. All right. Like, that's ridiculous. Don't you think that's ridiculous? What are you laughing at?
Yeah, I do. Maria, she sees WWE set up Evolution to fail it. It was booked on the same weekend as All In, Main Event, and Great American Bash, and a Beyonce concert. I just left the Beyonce concert. It's like we just throw it in Beyonce. No, Ashley was great. Ashley flared Charlotte, her thing. It was she told the truth, and I think that works well for her. Again, it was pretty cool to see. But so okay, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. Yes, there's a story there, you know. But I think Io versus Rhea is enough, right? Rhea being Rhea and Io being Io. Like, again, it's the same thing as Stratton and Stratus. Okay. What?
Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. That's just enough. You don't need a story. That's enough. Who do you sound like right now? Who do you sound like right now?
It's an evolution. It's evolution. It's
who do you sound like right now? You sound like a sicko. You sound like a sicko, bro. Oh, Io
but
Sky,
they had
dude,
it though. They built a story before. That's the thing.
Kenny Omega and Okada. What's the story? The story is they had history in the past. Sickos. Okay. You sound like okay. Continue, sicko. It's cool. It's cool.
You're setting me up. That's what this is. This is not WWE setting up Evolution to fail. It's Josh setting me up to fail. I'm trying to. He asked me what I thought, but anyway.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
that's true. I won't bring it up again. But
no, it's totally fair. You can. I don't care. I don't know. I'm gonna tell. Okay, so I asked where my shut up, DSG. I'll tell you my excitement level for it. I'm gonna say 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 because he had the build. They didn't do this good at all, and it kind of sets it up. I don't want to say for failure because I believe in the talent on this card. I do believe in the talent of this card, and I think they're going to put up a great show. That's where the 6 comes in. Like that's where the excitement leaves. I think these girls are going to put on a great show. Where the 7 to 10, where that's missing, is the build of it, because that, like you brought up, okay, stories. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. That's a story. They've been building that for a while. The triple threat, which I think should be the main event. Becky, Bailey, that's a story, right? You got JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. There's the Battle Royal.
Now, hold on here. JC Jane and Jordan Grace may have a story, but I got news for a lot of people. A lot of people don't watch NXT. So it would have been beneficial to bring these women onto the main roster at least once or twice in this build to go, hey, this is Jordan Grace, this is JC Jane. They're going to have a match at Evolution. They should have, if you wanted it to succeed, they would have promoted these 2 women on the main roster.
Okay, so here's my thing. Okay, I understand that logic, but I think it's better that when WWE fans are watching WWE Evolution and then they see Jordan Grace versus JC Jane and they go, oh crap, those who are not smart enough or, smarten up to who they are, and maybe they put on a great show. Well, when can I see more of them? Watch NXT. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. But if you want to see the build of it, you got to tune into NXT. We're not going to take NXT and throw them into WWE and to build that story. They want WWE fans to watch NXT.
But to counter that, how can they know this is even a match if you're not promoting the card on your weekly shows, and if you do promote the card, it's very, very like they promoted WrestleMania and SummerSlam and every other freaking break. You're hearing, oh, this guy's wrestling. I didn't even know JC Jane was wrestling Jordan Grace until about a week ago. Now, if you would have promoted this on the main roster maybe 3-4 weeks ago, we could have tuned in to NXT to watch their build. I didn't even know who the champion was in NXT. I'm being dead serious.
Let me ask you, because Universal just put it in here. He says Rhea's going to win. Io Sky's title reign is arguably the worst in pro wrestling history. I don't know if that's fair. I get that point because I think her championship reign has not been impressive, and that's not on her. It just hasn't been impressive. They haven't done right by her. Rhea had a great reign because they did right by her, but Io, it hasn't been interesting enough. What do you how do you think this is going to play out? Let's do that. Io versus Rhea. Can you see Rhea winning the title tonight?
Yeah, because she hasn't won a title in a while since
You're muted.
before Liv.
Oh, okay, never mind. You're not.
I'm not muted. But she will. If I'm mute, am I clear? My internet.
No, you're not muted. No, you're good. You were a little delayed. It looked like an old, one of those foreign films. Anyway, it's like, oh damn.
Anyway, so I do see an aura where Rhea wins this match because I'm looking towards SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need Rhea in the main card for the women's division in SummerSlam? And I'm looking at the main event, the Battle Royale winner. Like, is that person going to be babyface or heel? That's the way I'm looking at it. I can easily see Io keeping this title and going into SummerSlam. Obviously, Triple H is high on her. I think the flip side, Tiffy's run has been way worse than any run I've seen in the women's division in a very long time, but we'll get there. I think Rhea's going to win tonight. I don't think it's a set in stone, though. I don't think it's a for sure thing, but I do see Rhea Ripley winning the title tonight. I think that's a major title change, and it should happen because they're going into SummerSlam, and you need your top people in the top spots. Io had her moment at WrestleMania. It's time for Rhea to get her moment back. And it's not like she's been the champion. Look at the last time she was champion. Literally before she got hurt. Liv's held the title. I think Io's held the title. Who else has held the title since Rhea? It wasn't Rhea. So it's been a while. It's time. It's time.
So I think I could see it where Io Sky wins and retains it, and they kind of go on. Maybe like I think I saw Io versus Asuka, but I'm more in favor of Rhea Rip winning because I think again, as you're going into SummerSlam, you want that title, you want that match to mean something, and I think it means more if Rhea is the one with the title going into SummerSlam.
Look at the chat, dude.
They are
Rhea earned.
Yeah, look at that. Hey, it's all fair, Maria Hogan. Stop it. Don't do that, Maria. Don't do it. Don't start that. Come on. Every time. When you're that over, because, the IWC will I'm sick of Rhea. I'm sick of Becky. I'm sick of Mercedes. I'm sick of these. Yet, or, all these, whoever, these top stars, Cody and all these other, Roman. I'm sick of them. But as soon as they pop up on the screen or they're in that arena, the crowd goes wild. Come on. Rhea needs a new look. Nah, she don't. She good. No, I think Rhea can go over. The other, I'm leaving Becky versus Bayley versus this because I think that should be the main event. I'm going to leave that towards the end. Yeah. But Stratton versus Stratus. How I think I'm not going to say I'm not expecting a good match because Trish is like fine wine, in terms of wrestling and what she still can put on a good show. I know your excitement level is 0. However, how do you think this match plays out? Obviously, Stratton will go over.
Tiffany needs to win. Have a good match. Like, I don't know. The best case scenario. Can we get a cash in tonight? Can we make things interesting? Can we get Naomi to cash in? Can we do something fun tonight? Like, that's what I want. The only way to save this show is if we get Naomi to cash in on somebody. But she's wrestling. And I don't know if she's going to wrestle. Like, it depends on when Jade goes, right? When they have their match. But it's got to get off Tiffy. She's done nothing. I know Universal in the chat disagrees with me, and he thinks Universal thinks that run has been decent over there. I couldn't tell you one feud that Tiffany has had that I care about, or that's memorable, that we'll speak about, that in 5 years from now I go, hey, remember that Tiffy run? Yeah, that was fun. Who did she face? I truly think this is leading to a Tiffy Nikki Bella match, by the way. I do unfortunately think Nikki Bella. Why would you put her in this match?
Well, she
If she's
wasn't
not
supposed to
gonna
be.
win.
She wasn't
I
supposed to
know.
be. She was supposed to go
I
against
know.
Liv. Yeah.
But I could easily see this being freaking Tiffy and Nikki Bella. For some reason. I don't know why. But I don't know, man. I just don't care about Tiffy enough, and I don't care about Trish enough to care about this match. But it's cool to see Trish doing this in 2025. Like, if I take all that away from it and be positive, Josh, that's cool. I love seeing legends still wrestle, but at the end of the day, what does this match mean? What does it mean?
Well, it's a what do you call that thing? What do you call that? A notch in Tiffy's belt.
I lost us a viewer. Peace out, Universal.
When you say Tiffy versus you're cuckoo. First off, is a heel, not a baby face. I think the same could be said for Rhea. I think Rhea would be better off being a heel than she is as a baby face.
And Nikki's a baby face, and it would be major heat to have Tiffy beat her. That's the only thing. But who else is gonna win? I know we're not there yet, but who else is gonna win this battle royal? Like, who else?
We'll get there. We'll get there. I think Nikki Bella is a fair answer. I think I could see it. And I think Tiffy versus Nikki makes sense, especially because they started kind of putting over a little bit. Tiffy has said it. Chelsea Green has said it. They love the diva thing. Charlotte was just talking about that recently. I'm not saying they're going to bring back the Divas Championship, but I'm just saying that I could see that happening, and especially running with Nikki Bella being a legend, which she is, she's good. I could see that going in. Now, you're right. I don't think Tiffy has had a very memorable run in her role. And I think, it's a lesson to people. It's like, oh, I want this person to be the champion. I want Io to be the champion. I want Tiffy to be the champion. I'm so sick of so-and-so being the champion. I'm so sick of this, whoever that is, whoever's the champion at that point, sick of them. I want this new person to be the champion. They deserve it. They got it. What happened? That's why we can't rush these things. This is why you should just enjoy the story, shut up and watch and enjoy. Stop banging the drum for people who aren't ready to be the champ. Because after a while, you're like, damn, dude, they have to end this. The company is hurting them. The company is killing it. It's Paul Levesque's fault. It's Triple H, man. He doesn't know how to book them. No, sometimes it's on the talent. That's why when Rhea's the champion, people care. People care about the championship at that point. When Becky's the champion, people give a damn. You think of what Damian Priest, right? When Damian Priest became champion, it was awesome. It was great, right? But then when he got his first run, you're kind of like, damn, I'm not feeling it, dude. I don't see it. But it towards the middle and the end, it started getting real. He got to become more comfortable in his own skin. Got better on the mic. He went over. It was great. You're damn right. You're damn right. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Hold on. No, guess what? DSG, who was over with the fans, may not be over with you in the IWC. But when Jey Uso comes out,
that's right.
What are the fans doing? You see them doing that with Tiffy or Io Sky or Gunther? No. So you're damn right, says the guy who wanted Yeet at WrestleMania. Goddamn right. And guess what? I still do. He's still over with the fans. That's what you want in your champ. That's what you want. You want a guy who could sell you tickets, who you could put on the main card and people are going to buy. Because this one, they see Jey Uso, they're going to buy the ticket. Is she over with the fans? Do the fans care when Io Sky's music hits? I'm not talking about the IWC, Maria.
They do. The fans care. The fans do care.
I don't see it. I don't see it live. You don't see the fans jumping. When Rhea's music hit, they jump. The IWC is sick of Rhea. But when her music hits, look at the arena jump. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
This is a good time slot, Bobby. We need to do a show live at 10 a.m.
God dang. Come on.
New time slot, 10 a.m., guys. Listen.
Totally.
Let's brush through the rest of the card. JC Jane, Jordan Grace. I'm not going to go into too much. Jordan Grace, sure, win the title because she's a bigger name, in my opinion. Can we move on to the women's tag team match? Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. The Kabuki Warriors, which is Kairi Sane and Asuka, and Sol Ruka versus Zarya.
No, I'm sorry.
We have. I don't understand what's so fun. Bobby, can we get back on track? Listen.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. Is anyone think that
it
Charlotte
totally
Flair
took me
and
out,
Alexa Bliss
dude? It totally took me out.
I know. We all agree Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair should win this title. Should win these titles. Is that we all in agreement to this?
Yes. Yes.
But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yes, Charlotte and Alexa. They should though.
It's because I think if Raquel and Roxanne lose these titles, the whole gimmick of Judgment Day is we all have gold. Right? Men have the tag team titles, the women have the tag, and Dominic has the IC title. So what would happen if they lose these titles to Charlotte and Alexa? What's their role in Judgment Day? Roxanne and Raquel. The whole gimmick of Judgment Day right now is we all have titles, right?
Yeah.
So I just don't see them dropping the titles right away, especially with the whole gimmick of Liv being out and the whole deal of Roxanne having to prove herself. But I guess you don't care about this match like I don't care about the other matches. I actually care about this match.
So
there's story to it. There's story. Wow.
Yeah. So I get it. I get what the story is and the gimmick for Judgment Day to have all the titles. They don't have all the titles, but they have a good amount of them, obviously. But I don't know, man. First off, I think this could be a show stealer. The talent on this with Sol Roca, Roxanne, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Sane. I think this has a legitimate chance to really be an entertaining match for wrestling fans. I could see Raquel and Roxanne sneaking out with the belts. Somebody else does a big move, they steal it and run off with it. But when I'm looking at this and I'm looking at who's in it, Asuka and Kairi Sane, you can make a case for them. And Charlotte and Alexa just started this run as a tag, and I really like where it's going. I don't want to say it's too early because it's never too early for some like them. But yeah, if it's not Raquel and Roxanne, I'd go with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It's gonna be a good match. But the Battle Royale, I have all 20 participants. And I've now changed my winner because I forgot she was in this match. You want me to read off the 20 participants?
Yeah. Did we go over Naomi and Jade Cargill?
Oh, you want to do that first?
Oh no, go ahead. We could do the Battle Royal. I didn't know if we did, or I don't know if you skipped it when I
saw my thing. Saving the most two interesting things for last.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. Battle Royal.
So we got Ivy Nile, Zelina Vega, Julia, Jada Parker, Nikki Bella, Chelsea Green, Nia Jax, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Lola Vice, Michin, B-Fab, Candice LeRae, Tatum Paxley, whatever that is, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, Kalani Jordan, Izzy Dame, Lash Legend, and who I think is going to win and face Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, Stephanie Vaquer. I forgot she was in it. I'm sorry we lost Universal because of my actions of Nikki Bella. Stephanie Vaquer is the only person that should win this Battle Royal. I forgot she was in the match. Her and Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam is money. That is money. The two most over women in the company right now. I think Stephanie Vaquer. Who do you think anyone else should win this match?
No, it's to me it's Stephanie. And that's why when you said Nikki. I mean, and again, I don't think you're way off. I could see that being the case, but I think they plugged Nikki in here because of what happened with Liv Morgan. I could see them saying, "Hey, Nikki, go over and then have her go against Tiffy," and and that's within itself. And I think that might be the case. But Stephanie was my pick. I think it's going to be Stephanie Vaquer, and I think Rhea versus Stephanie is probably the plan. The two wild cards. First of all, well, let me just say the two wild cards first, because if Stephanie number one, you got Nikki, but Chelsea Green and Nia always, you got to consider them. And Chelsea Green, again, they're wild cards. WWE could pull a thing under a rug and do that. I want to see the Natalya that we've been seeing on the indie scene. I don't know if you got a glimpse of that or not, but I really like what she's done there. I'm going to see how she's presented tonight, because if they got that, Natalya showing up, if she could bring that in, I would be excited to see that. But yeah, man, no, I'm rolling with Stephanie for career. It has to be that. Stephanie versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Give me that every day. Build that up.
Yep. I'm into it. And Maria thinks it's too early, which it could be. We'll see. Bianca's back.
Again, I think that's fair. I get it. I understand that point. Because again, she just got on that scene, and you could still do some other things with her. But and that's why Nikki Bella might be a safe choice, and it would be an obvious choice. And you can roll with that. She's the legend. She's got the hype coming in, and they could do that, and it would make sense. You can't hate on it. But that's why I say, I mean, Chelsea and Nia are wild cards for me in that battle royal. But I'm rolling with Stephanie for Kerr on that. Bianca and Ray.
Am I frozen again?
Fair, yeah.
Bianca and Rhea. Okay, see, but I don't think Bianca's in the battle royal because Bianca returned last night, Saturday Night Main Event, and she is now the special guest referee in the Jade Cargill Naomi match.
Yeah, she's not in that match. Yeah, she's not in the battle
Bianca
royal.
Came out looking like she was going to a freaking homecoming. I don't understand. By the way, I'm not going to go into it. Could you imagine Shawn Michaels returning in a freaking full, back in the day? Oh, and your special guest referee, the one and only Shawn Michaels, and he comes in some 5-piece suit like he's Cody Rhodes. Bianca, come on, man. You dressed like you're going to prom? I can't stand that, bro. I couldn't stand it when I saw it. I was like, all right, it is what it is. It's what we do. I'm into it. I said on Thursday night, Bianca should return and impact this matchup. I'm glad that they actually did it in the special guest referee form. So now we know there's going to be a decision of who she sides with. The only decision is, who is she siding with? I think she's got to turn heel. She's got to turn heel. She has to turn heel. She has to.
Okay. So that would mean Naomi going over, which she should. Or it'll be that thing where it looks like she favored Naomi over Jade, where Jade's going to look at her going, what the hell,
I don't want to pull it. I don't want to just call it now, but this makes sense. Blow it off at SummerSlam. Naomi cashes in. We have the triple threat match. Bianca doesn't have to choose a side. You know what I mean? Naomi could hold this title in the SummerSlam, and this could be a triple threat match. Take the title off of Tiffy.
Yeah.
Take it off. I'm just trying to figure out a way to make something interesting besides, because to me, Tiffy holding this title into SummerSlam, it's not interesting no matter who wins that battle royal. I don't know. Does that battle royale winner go to SummerSlam?
Yeah. They main event. Yeah. They get a title shot.
Then that can't happen. Then it can't happen.
And Maria, Bianca is over, but when she was in that triple threat feud where Io was the third wheel, even though Io was the champion, she was getting booed. People were asking, why are people booing Bianca so much? I think Bianca is due for a heel run. I think she would kill it as a heel in that company in WWE. I think it would be the right time. And she would carry Jade in a feud.
Oh, hold on. It would make sense. I could make this work because Jade already has the SummerSlam match. If Naomi's a champion, it'd be natural for it to be Jade and Naomi, and Bianca's just in there as a triple threat person because that's the story. So that means a Raw person would win the Battle Royale, which would be Vakir, which makes sense. This is all happening, people. Naomi's walking out of this title or as a champion, or she will be the champion.
I hope. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you, though, I would love that. I want to see. I am so over. I'm high on Naomi right now in regards of this heel run. What she's doing is awesome. Just to see it's really cool. And I would love to see her as a champion, but I also love seeing her with that Money in the Bank briefcase. The way she, the way it looks, the way she carries it, you know, I don't like the word too soon, because wrestling should be full of surprises and expectation. We never say something's too soon. I just watch it and enjoy it. But if she turns it in tonight and steals the belt, that'd be an awesome way to finish Evolution, with her running away or winning the belt and standing in the ring evil as hell. All right. Now, and that, again, Io versus Rhea or Tiffy versus Trish could be the main event, and then you can finish it off with Naomi. But we're going to leave, I think, could be the most interesting match on the card, the one I care most about, which is the triple threat with Valkyria, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. I talked about it when I kind of saw the way it was going after WrestleMania, was, Becky winning and then eventually, going against Bayley and making that IC title more important. Valkyria is, as she was one that was like kind of like, she won the IC title and it wasn't really gelling like Chelsea Green with the US title. But when she started feuding with Becky Lynch, that got her over the hump. We knew how good she was in the ring, but on the mic as a character, it was like, whoa, holy crap. This is the point. She made herself important. And Becky did that too. Becky had a lot to do with that, but Valkyria lived up to that title. She lived up to that feud. And so much so that it's hard to ignore her. You couldn't keep her out of this match. You had to get her, you had to keep her involved, because it wouldn't make sense for her to be taking a backseat. It wouldn't have made sense to make her the special guest referee. No, she has to be involved in this match. And what they've done after, how she was able, after she lost the belt, stay involved. And then, it's like, oh, I'm friends with Bayley. Not really. I love the way they've done this. It showed this feud and this story has showed how important and how great Becky and Bayley are. That they, on the mic, in the ring, and what they were able to do for Valkyria. And it showed Valkyria could hang with the best. That when this feud is eventually over, she's going to be able to carry over this run. And she may be in that conversation for a world championship and everything, because what she's been able to do.
No,
again,
I agree.
Way over on Valkyria, way over on this match. I'm really excited for this match. Man, okay, I'm gonna let you talk in regards of how you think this is gonna go, because this is a tough one, man.
It's tough. I don't know who's gonna walk out as champion. I really don't know who can walk out. Usually I have a pretty good idea of like, oh, Becky's gonna pin this person and here's why. And I could honestly don't see Bayley winning the title. I think she's the one who's not gonna win the title. I don't think it makes sense for her. It'd be cool to see her win the title, because she would be because she needs to win the US title. Because she was the first Grand Slam champion. Now she's not, because there's a US title and Intercontinental title now. So I could say, well, that would continue her story of being a Grand Slam champion, but it wouldn't make sense. Do we put it back on Lyra with her new personality?
So I was gonna say, I think you can make a case for either one of these wrestlers to come out with the belt. Any one of them. Becky can continue it and continue her feud. She's a great heel. Her husband just went down. She could lead that spot. And I think she would have a great feud with Bayley continuing it, or Valkyria, or whomever.
So you think Becky drops it, joins Paul Heyman, and she has a great feud with Roman Reigns?
That's not what I meant. You know what I mean? As a top heel on Raw. Because she really is really good, and she's fun on the mic, dude. She's really good, dude. But I can see Bayley doing it, and Bayley having that run, and whatever. But I don't know. I just can't see. Bayley's the least likely, in my opinion. I think you could, Becky going over seems the more likely one, but I'm going to roll with Valkyria, because what she's been able to do in this feud, how she's not going away, and how big it would be for the fans for her to go over on two legends. Again, it can make all the sense in the world for Becky to go over. Becky as the champion makes sense. Becky could feud with everybody, make that belt legitimate. She is. Valkyria started it, but Valkyria winning absolutely makes a lot of sense. That's where I'm leaning, is Valkyria, but it makes more sense for Becky to win.
No, either way, I'll be happy with whoever wins this matchup. I'm actually excited for this matchup, and I'm going to be watching Saturday Night Main Event. When we wrap this show up, actually, my kids are waiting. They're texting me. We are going to Busch Gardens today. It's going to
Awesome.
be hot. It's blazing here in Tampa, but
Miserable in
we're going.
Tennessee too, brother.
Yeah, it's miserable everywhere. If you're not actually, I don't even know northern states. My wife works for a company in New York, and they're like, it's 65 today. It's hot, and I just want to say f you. Like
And
really,
you
like f
should.
you.
I would say it.
Yeah.
Idiots. But no, first of all, this was awesome. I'm on 4 hours of sleep, but I was like, I'm gonna get through
Yep.
this, and I actually really enjoyed it. That's probably when on my laughing spurt, and because I'm overly tired, but this was really cool. I really enjoy this, and this is why when Josh was like, I'm doing the fantasy draft, can we do this in the morning? And I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah. Because I enjoy doing this with Josh. I enjoy talking wrestling. And it was a great day yesterday of wrestling. It's going to be a great day today. And DSG says it's in the 90s in New York today.
I'm talking like a month ago. They're like,
Listen, Josh Hogan. Josh Hogan. You just called out Josh Hogan. Hogan
Listen,
filed
y'all's
Josh
90s
Kimmel in
ain't
there.
our 90s. Y'all's 90s ain't our 90s. Listen, I was in Nevada last year. I'm going to Las Vegas this year. And they're like, it's hot, brother. You gotta drink your water. It's 105 degrees. Brother, I'm wearing long sleeves and jeans out there in Las Vegas. It ain't Tampa weather. It's hot in Miami weather. As you probably know, Miami weather sucks too.
It sucks. Matthew has a question, Josh, and I'll let you
Okay.
answer that.
Do you think Don Callis in the rematch of Okada versus Omega needs to be excluded from the match or in a shark cage for the match to be better? I think Don was not the right thing. Listen, Matthew, I did not get to watch All In, and it was at 2:00 yesterday. I was in a very prestigious fantasy tournament. Scott Fish Bowl is a big deal, so I was not able to watch live yesterday. I'm going. It is a big deal. It's always during this time, but I'm going to watch it. But I do think that Don Callis should be excluded but I do think that's a good stipulation because I think AEW overbooks sometimes, and if they let their talent just produce a match, it'd be good. Like I was reading the main event Texas Death Match results, reading it. I'm still gonna watch it. But it's like, oh, then Swerve showed up, then he showed up, then Claudio showed up. It's like I think that if AEW did less run-ins and less interference, their matches could breathe and be much better. So I agree with that, Matthew. If Don Callis did take away too much from that match. Jelly Roll looks like my mechanic. Jelly Roll lost a lot of weight, by the way.
He did.
Looks like he's been training.
Good for him, man. Good for him. Matthew, thank you for the question and thank you for tuning in, man. We appreciate you. Hopefully come back. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe for all those who are new to the show, new to the channel. FTSN, hit that like and subscribe button. We're here usually on Saturdays, 5 p.m. Eastern time. But sometimes we'll change it up just because things happen in life. We're both dads and, we're going to do our thing. And so we try to come on whenever we can. But this has been a fun show, a great show. I really enjoyed it. This was actually very good for the time slot for all the interactions. So we appreciate you guys. So, and I want to shout out for our fellow content creators. First off to Justin Toner of Ruckus Entertainment. Awesome guy, awesome dude. Puts on a great show with Josh Mabry for wrestling. So guys, go check them out. Adrian of the Rainy Day Pod. I haven't seen him in here today. I know he usually watches, but it may be a little early. Of course, it's a Sunday. But go check out the Rainy Day Pod. I was tuning into his show yesterday. He was doing a preview for all 3 of the PLEs or the shows yesterday. And he's going to start doing a weekly wrestling podcast as well on his channel. So shout out to him. And he does great stuff, and he's a good friend of the network. So anyway, that's a wrap for us. Josh, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, man, enjoy wrestling today. Evolution is going to be nice tonight. I know there's no bill, but give it a chance. I will be watching it a full belly of churros today. I can't wait to have a churro at Busch Gardens. And I like those little nuts. The nuts with the almonds with the can. You know what I'm talking about? Get them when you go to Disney World. They're in those little checkered red and white. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna eat junk this food, and I'm gonna edit the video. Just letting you know, it's clipped and edited. It's like,
I just can't. When I go to Busch Gardens, y'all, I eat sugar, and I can't wait to eat sugar today. So I hope everyone enjoys their day.
Absolutely, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you next week. Later.
Peace.